LifeInDecibel here, taking some rides with my buddy. He used to be on YouTube, but he's not anymore, so actually we met through YouTube, which is kind of funny. Just riding around some parts, some areas, places I guess not really have been before, and it's pretty cool. Nice scenery, and definitely a nice break from the everyday crap I gotta deal with when I'm driving and riding, or you know, whatever. But yeah, man, I can't believe I'm riding a motorcycle. It's almost Thanksgiving. I don't have a leather coat on. I've got my fall/summer coat on, and I'm comfortable, man. It's this. I love the winters down here. The falls and the winter for Texas is great. I mean, in Illinois and Chicago, no good, no good at all, man. It's already like I think 40 something down there. But yeah, man. So I have a topic, a vlog, I guess, that is rather personal to me, and I was actually, you know, kind of insulted by a friend of mine, or at least somebody who claims to be a friend of mine. And basically, there's a guy I used to work with back home in Chicago, and we used to work at the railroad together, and he has a son, and sometimes either I'll play Call of Duty online with him or his son, or together, and you know, good times to be had by all. We're laughing, we're catching up. You know, Xbox Live is kind of I guess the main way we keep in contact nowadays, being that, you know, I no longer live in Illinois. So, you know, and like, it's, you know, lighthearted fun. You're playing Xbox. So, well, the other day I'm playing Modern Warfare 3, and my friend's son gets online, and he's like, hey, I'm bored, you know, what's going on? So we just start talking, chit-chatting and stuff. He's a good kid. I remember seeing the kid grow up when he was real little, and you know, so I don't mind talking to him. It's all good. And so we're talking and whatnot, and he's talking about how his dad won't buy him Modern Warfare 3, or and I guess, you know, whatever. So we have this conversation, and we start talking about music, and he's like, yeah, my dad tells me you're in a band and you play guitar and such. I'm like, oh yeah, you know. And you know, it's just like, I've talking to him about music, and he starts telling me, he's like, well, okay, well, what kind of music do you play, this, that, the other? And so, you know, I start telling him, like, oh, it's heavy metal. He's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, you know. And he's like, oh man, that's awesome. I'm like, really? Like, you listen to heavy metal? You know, I didn't, through the conversations him and I had, I didn't really picture him as a metalhead. But he's like, oh yeah, I love heavy metal, you know. So we started talking about bands and stuff, and I was like, have you listened to this band? Have you listened to this band? He's like, no, my dad doesn't allow me to listen to that stuff. I'm like, what? You know, I'm all confused, because his dad and I used to listen to that, you know, together all the time. And we used to listen to that kind of music all the time. His dad had this big sound system in his car, I guess you could say. And so he'd bump all this hardcore metal and stuff, and now he won't let his kid listen to it. And I'm like, confused. So I start to inquire. I'm like, okay, well, why are you not allowed to listen to this? And he's like, well, I have a friend who listens to that stuff, and he's been arrested and this and this, and so my dad says, I don't want you listening to heavy metal because I don't want you to be one of those people. And all I can think of is those people. And I get mad, because I'm like, wait a minute, dude. Him and I used to be real good friends back home in Chicago, and I'm one of those people. I listen to that kind of music, you know. I play and write that kind of music. Now, at the same time, I don't get arrested. I don't have a criminal record. Hey, look at that. I don't, you know, I do all right. You know, I got a good job. I'm married to a beautiful woman. And, you know, I'm an adult. I'm a responsible adult. I'm a good person, you know. You know, some people think I'm an asshole, but, you know, I mean, you don't have to be a metalhead to be an asshole. Fuck is this? But yeah, so he's like, I don't want you to be one of those people. And I was like so offended. Like, and so I told my wife about it. I'm like, hey, look, we're gonna be one of those people. And she's like, well, what the fuck? I'm like, exactly. And you know, a lot of our friends that we have also listen to that same kind of music. And they're those people. And I have friends that are smarter than me, a lot better off financially than me, and are one of those people. So what the hell does that mean, you know? I don't know. I got frustrated. I got mad about it, you know? And another thing that like really pissed me off is the kid, he has a guitar. I don't know if he got it as a gift or how it happened. I mean, probably, because I don't think the kid's got a job. I think he just, I think he's not old enough to work yet. I mean, he's getting there, but I asked, you know, I asked him, you know, like, oh, do you play any instruments? And he's like, oh yeah, actually I have a guitar, but I can't play it. I'm like, well, why can't you play it? And he's like, well, it doesn't have any strings. I'm like, okay, so fix that, get some strings for it. And he's like, my dad won't buy me any strings. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, because he's afraid I'm going to play heavy metal and be one of those people. I'm like, okay, so not only is this guy who's done a complete, I don't know, was 360, is that the proper word? But he'd end up the same way he was. I don't know, a 180, I guess, would be proper. Excuse me. He's done a complete 180 to what he used to be, to what he is now. And, you know, it's just... And being a metalhead and being a musician, the fact that he doesn't want his son to play guitar and express himself creatively through music, or listen to the music he wants to listen to, I don't know, man. I mean, it's not my kid, you know, so I can't say anything to the dad like, hey, stupid, what are you doing? But I feel that he insulted me by telling his kid, I don't want you to be one of those people. You know, and the fact that, like I said, that he won't let his son creatively express himself through music is frustrating, you know. When I was young, that's all I had to keep myself out of trouble was my guitar. My parents fought, my parents drank, and I'd go in my room and play guitar, and that's what I did. And, you know, if it wasn't for music, fuck, I don't know where I'd be today. I don't know what my life would be like. It's very possible I would have been a troublemaker and gotten myself in all kinds of shit. But because of music and because of, you know, me being able to play music, it got me out of that. So, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking way too much into this, and I shouldn't be offended, but I am. And I have to rant about it. So, I don't know. Until next time, guys, ride safe, keep the shiny side up.